Hey everybody, and welcome back. Woohoo! We've got a fun video today, of course. We're going to be looking at the road to glory, TitanX, DragonX, Hyper, Inferno, and of course, upcoming is Hydra. There are tons more projects coming, maybe about at least 8 over the next sort of 6 weeks that guaranteed, and a couple more being created as we speak. So the TitanX ecosystem really about to absolutely explode. I think you've got a couple of more days to get in at this kind of price range before it really starts to not just creep up, but jump up in prices. So it's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to get into that in the second half of the show. That's going to be a big one. We're going to obviously cover the stock market and crypto briefly, and then just do a quick summary of meme coins and Pulsechain. And then we're going to jump into cover the TitanX ecosystem, which is, I think on the precipice of absolute glory. So it's going to be a lot of fun. All right, let's get into it. We've got Lies Beneath in the house. How are you today? Very, very good. We've got the maximum strategy of the Hex Token channel, Hex Pulsex incentive for the win, 100%. And we got some big news out about that yesterday. Sun AG bringing $22 million potentially in the next 3 days over into Pulsechain. So that's going to be a big deal. That's huge, right? So I think it's about 91 million in liquidity. So adding another 20 million is going to be huge. And that could really start off further moves up. So we'll be looking forward to that in the future too. We got who else there? A big welcome, of course, from us here on Pulsechain. That's me, basically. We also got Rich Landon else there. Hello, good to see you, Rich. Cool photo there on the summer beach with the little boat in behind. Looking pretty cool for school there. All right, let's get into it, folks. Without further ado, get in the chat there, make it lively. If you're new to the channels, we're streaming to over 10,500 subscribers on Hex Token channel, Superman Crypto, and Pulsechain X. And we've had quite a few new subscribers on all those channels. So big shout out to all the members. And if you're new, subscribe, hit the bell for future videos. Let's get into it. So we're going to start off with the stock market. We had a pretty decent day. This is Wednesday's results in the United States. We had the big inflation data out. So S&P 500 rides NVIDIA-led rally to close higher. So good for the tech stocks there. NVIDIA and the AI trend, obviously big deal. Now, the Dow Jones was actually down during intraday trade, but closed up a 0.3%, 125 points to 40,861. That's on the top 30 industrials. The S&P 500 was up over 1%, so really good day on the stock market. 58 points there to 5,555. The Nasdaq up 2.15%, a real nice gain on that. Remember, last week was pretty horrible, but we've had some good days this week. Nasdaq, up 365 points to 17,391. US dollar is also up slightly. The index is at 101.77. Let's move to commodities quickly. West Texas and Brent oil, they're around $67.70 respectively, only down slightly. Gold is pretty much flat at 2,539, and silver is up slightly at $28.99. And so if we get this interest rate pivot, we get a US dollar devaluation, then those commodities are going to run, and we're expecting crypto to run too, right? So we're going to jump past the NVIDIA section, just get into the inflation, which is what we're really looking forward here. Inflation reading dense 50 basis point rate cuts. So we want this for crypto, right? With the interest rate cuts, and we want cheap money, and we want the market to start booming into crypto in particular. Headline US consumer prices rose by 0.2% on a monthly basis in August, matching July's rates, so pretty much the same as the previous month. But the core figure accelerated slightly, so that'll be a little bit concerning to the Fed, potentially denting the chances that the Federal Reserve will introduce a more aggressive cut to interest rates at its upcoming policy meeting. We're hoping for 50 basis points. Of course, 25 basis points is on the cards. The month-to-month headline US consumer price index met economist expectations along with the annual figure, which slowed to 2.5 from 2.9. So it's not too bad. And meanwhile, core consumer prices, which strip out more volatile items like food and fuel, edged up by 0.3% month-to-month, faster than estimates of 0.2%. So that's kind of the little concerning whenever it doesn't, meet that expectation. Year on year, the reading came in at 3.2%, in line with forecasts and equaling July's pace. So it's not, not too much, but it may, keep them a bit more cautious as they look at that rate cut. The August CPI data muddies the water a little bit on trying to assess the persistence of the current disinflationary trend, maintaining its forecast of 25 basis points in September. So that's kind of where we are at the moment. So let's have a quick look at the Fed rate monitor and see what the market thinks about interest rate cuts in September. It's about a week away, right? Yeah, 6 days and 17 hours to go until the next Fed meeting. So it's coming up, folks. It's going to be cool. Is it going to help jettison out of volatile August, September? Anyway, we've got 86% pricing and 25 basis points. So I think that inflation data has pretty much done it. The market thinks 25 basis points there at the moment. Only 14% expects a 50 basis point cut. But anyway, this would be the official pivot from the terminal rates. Terminal rate at 5.5% and then going down to 5.25%. That's going to be generally good news, right? November at the moment, we can see that we may get 25 to 50 basis points there as well. And then December, we've got the meeting. We're looking at potentially another 25 basis points there. So that looks like around 1 percentage point or 100 basis points reduction. That's cheaper money. Cheaper money is good. And of course, we look forward to it flowing into crypto for our bull run towards the end of the year. Now, Bitcoin at the moment, $57,500 is down 0.4%, sitting at 55% of Bitcoin dominance. So pretty much normal there, what we've been seeing around the dominance. And Ethereum there, 2,343, down 2%. We were up yesterday. We're down today, unfortunately. Now, we do have a bit of a mixed results across the board. Solana's down 2.2%. XRP's down 1%. But we got Tron up. Tron is up 0.25%, 15.3 cents. ADA's up 3.7 to 35 cents after the Chang upgrade, right? And then we've got the BNB up at 2.9% at $531. So, you know, a bit of a mixed results today, but Bitcoin ultimately is down just slightly. Moving quickly to the charts. This is the hourly chart on Bitcoin for Coinbase. We can see it's sort of very volatile, moving around here on the hourly. And of course, we look at the daily. We have still trying to avoid that death cross, right? Look at that. Woo-hoo! There's the death cross right there. And I don't know if we're going to avoid it, but you know, if we have it a short cross or a bounce, it's going to be pretty interesting. So keep a lookout for that. We are below the 200-day moving average, which is 59,269, currently at 57,451. That said, I still think we're in a pretty good base for once we get out of September for that rally to 90K, 100K Bitcoin by the end of the year. And you guys know things can turn around pretty fast. So we've got a little bit of edging off here and yeah, up for that next move, right? That's probably going to be the play there. And like I say, we're less than a week away from the interest rate pivots. That's going to be bullish. This red line, of course, is September, which is normally negative for crypto. And so once we get out of that, we get into October, and October is positive for crypto. October, right? They're basically the opposite of each other. And yeah, for that interest rate pivot could help fuel the beginning of a rise in crypto. And then if we get Trump winning the US election on the 5th there, that could be really, really good. I see in the latest Sierra poll, Trump is up 1% nationally on that. So, you know, even with corporate polls like the Sierra one, he's starting to turn the tide there a bit. I think the debate yesterday was probably pretty neutral. So we'll see where that goes. And then, of course, interest rates here in November, another interest rate cut, probably 50 basis points, hopefully. That would get us a 75 basis point cut. That would be pretty bullish, getting us to 4.75% on the federal funds rate. That is the play. And then, of course, December, another rate cut, get us 1 basis points to get us to 4.5% on the federal funds rate, cheap money, and a pro-crypto president. It's going to be pretty bullish, right? So, yeah, the alternative is terrifying, of course, with a communistic leader of the free world. That'd be a nightmare on Elm Street, part 25. I don't know. It's going to be pretty scary. All right, let's move on. Ethereum. And let's go to the chart there. Obviously pretty volatile there on Ethereum, but with an uptrend. So we'll take that. Just flattening out a little bit recently on the hourly. Moving to the daily. Let's look at 200. We did have a death cross back here on the 13th of August. That has pretty much played out. But we have a nice little retrace here. Obviously, we have to get out of the September volatility. And likewise, we've got the US election and interest rates. And hopefully Bitcoin leads the way on that one. So that is pretty much Ethereum. And let's have a look at meme coins quickly. Meme coins at the moment, we've got Dogecoin at 14.8 billion. It's down it's actually up 3.5% for the week, but down 1% today. A lot of the other leaders are down for the week and on the day there. Most of Dog with Hat is down because of today, down 6%. Not a lot of things happening on the leverage because obviously, you know, Bitcoin is mulling around, Ethereum, etc. Brett token on base chain is still up 6%, but they're all down today. What else is looking pretty interesting? Mog coin there is up 14% for the week, but down 2.7%. Sondog, the new one that entered the top list, is up 32% for the week, but down 5%. So again, a pretty nice market at $291 million, I should say. And then my favorite one, of course, is Dog. still picking this for the win. Obviously with Bitcoin down, but once Bitcoin starts heading towards that 90 to 100K and beyond into next year, man, we could, might get a top of that market, 150 to 180. That's kind of the mid range, and maybe we even get as high as 240 or something like that. The Richard Hart price call, definitely doable. We're not going to muck around until was it 21.45 because that's Michael Saylor calling $30 million Bitcoin. So I don't know, we're not going to be streaming till that time. But anyway, that is where we are at the moment. Dog, a really wonderful pickup, quarter of a penny at the moment, $256 million market cap. So a real good entry on Dog before the next parabolic run. That's kind of the play on the meme coins. Not bad. All right, so let's should we just go to the overall? Actually, let's go overall. The overall market cap 2.02 trillion. So pretty much we've been stuck around this level. We've popped just below 2.02 trillion. We're back above it slightly now. Not too bad on that one. Now that's going to lead us into Pulsechain. Before we do that, though, let's see if we've got anyone else in here. We've got Wookie. Wookie the Famous is in the house. Good to see you, Wookie, as well. Yeah, there's a strategy club. People want to join a strategy club today. And we've got DragonX in the house as well. Hey, Superman. Good to see DragonX again. And a Hex Token member, channel member. Big shout out to you. All right, so let's jump over to Pulsechain. And we can see that we're on day 488. We're only 12 days away from 500 days since Pulsechain launched there. And we've got the price of Pulse at quadruple 0339, down 2.26%. So we did have 2 green days. We're just taking a little bit of profit at the moment. We got Pulsex at quadruple 0169, down 4.7%. That's still holding around the support level. So that's still there. And the buy and burn is at 975.4 billion. Pulsex on the buy and burn, 4.83% of all the public supply has been bought up and burned. Incentive token is $1.54, down 6%. The ratio is still in the support zone. So still in that sideways channel at 45,600 pulse per incentive. Total incentives are sitting at just below 42 million for the Pulsex V1 farms. Hex at the moment is sitting at 4,100 of a penny, down 2.3%. EHEX at 1,100 of a penny. Combined price of EHEX and PX is at 50/200th of a penny, more or less. So that is the markets for rich altcoins. And we're possibly going to get that Sun AG $20 million in the next couple of days. So that could turn things around pretty fast. Let's have a look at the gas prices, 345,000 beats, 4/10 of a penny at the moment for a Pulsex swap. And the validators ticking away as well. Remember, Pulsechain is a layer 1 fork of Ethereum, and it is got a fully decentralized. So pretty awesome chain. 48,645 validators, 1.56 trillion is staked with the validators, so that's off the market. Finally getting into our bridge, and of course the bridge there at $90.5 million. Like I say, if this Sun AG stuff comes in, we've already seen $1 million come in. If the rest of it comes in, it's going to be $22 million. And of course the new ticker is going to start trading. That's a huge liquidity boost to this, isn't it? So I mean, let's do some quick math on that. So let's do, I'm going to do 21 divided by 90.05. That is a boost on liquidity of something like 23%. That's could cause quite a big move in the Pulsechain there. So we'll see how that plays out. But that new token coming. So fingers crossed it all plays out, right? And maybe the Magic Carp ride kicks in on the back of that. Who knows? Could be fun times. So that's pretty much it on the markets, stock market, crypto, and Pulsechain update. We're going to get into the main event today, which is going to be the Road to Glory, TitanX, DragonX, Hyper, Inferno, and Hydra. So let's pull that in as well. Let's remove. Get into the chat there. Get lively, as we say. Let's pull up the screen. I've got to get rid of this one first, don't I? Let's pull that up. Get rid of this. Now, obviously, TitanX ecosystem has been moving very nicely, and that's still slowly creeping. But I have a feeling it's going to be jumping soon. So that's going to be a big deal for everybody involved. So here it is, TitanX at the moment. Woo! It's ticking up there. 6 zeros, 8,144 is the price at the moment. 6 zeros, 6 zeros, 8,144. You can see it's just slowly creeping up there. Let's go to the screen this out a bit more here. I've got to auto log that too. That is the chart right now. So the forever down coin, as they say, like Zen and stuff, is no longer, right? No longer forever down. It's forever up now. It's going to be forever up. So it's the forever up coin is TitanX there. and of course it's still in the inflationary stage, and of course about to enter the hyper deflationary stage. It's getting closer and closer by the day. So September, October, early November, that is a huge phase of moving into hyper deflation for the old TitanX, and maybe the miners become more profitable again. So that's the price in US dollars. Let's have a quick look at the ETH. The ETH price has been pretty interesting, and look at that trend there against ETH. So you're mining basically ETH, aren't you? You're mining more ETH out because this thing is looking like a boss, man, and it's going up all the time. So let's auto log that too. Bam, and look at that. Let's see. I mean, that's up a lot, right? Yeah, look at that huge amount up there at the moment. So massive amount of mining there going on with ETH there. So if you want to mine ETH, the TitanX is the play, and I think that's going to only just the beginning, right? So stay tuned with the hyper deflation and all the protocols, all the buy and burns. It's going to be pretty awesome. And don't forget all the new users or holders coming into TitanX as well. Pretty exciting. All right, so let's put that back to US dollars, and let's scroll that back, and we're going to bring the overlays. Let's bring that back, and we're going to bring the overlays in. So bam, there we go. So we're going to talk about that in a minute. But this is the TitanX hub. So this is by Mike Dean. He's kind of number one analytic guy in the TitanX ecosystem. He's got a list of the roadmap of all the projects that are going to be built on top of TitanX. And so yeah, TitanX is on Ethereum, right? So these are all built on top, what we call second, third layer, fourth layer type of projects that build on top of TitanX. And you can see all the projects in here, amazing number. So you know that TitanX is going to get in huge demand and start disappearing from the market pretty quickly. 22 projects at the moment, but we know there's probably another half a dozen at least projects that are not on this list that are coming down the pipeline. So yeah, it's going to be pretty exciting to see all this play out. You can also see a number of these projects like Titan Farms have got now dates on the launch there too, not just TBA to be advised, but actually dates. So Titan Farms early there, we got Flux has also got the date. Vault's got a date there. Hydra's got a date, and October for Element 280. So lots of very bullish projects. And not only do we have a whole ton of ROI protocols coming in, but we have a number of critical DeFi infrastructure coming into the TitanX ecosystem. And so that's going to be huge for the protocol, right? We've got three major ones there coming in. So in terms of borrowing, lending, stablecoins, LP provision and incentive to fatten up liquidity, and also index funds through Element 280. So those are critical components of making this whole system flourish. Going to be really exciting to see that. All right, but let's overlay all this into the chart on TitanX, and this is what we get, right? So this is what we get. Now, this doesn't have every single project that's going to be on there, but all the ones that are currently coming up to launch. I'm just going to flatten that out a little bit there, just so we can see that. I might turn off the volume chart. I'm going to turn it off. And so here we are. Here we're coming up here. So we've got the next cycle, all right? It's going to be Inferno. Inferno 8 there is ticking off. That's going to be pretty exciting. Because last cycle 7, we had 1.5 trillion. The previous cycle, in cycle 6, we had 1.1 trillion. And of course, in previous cycle before that, we had 700 billion and then 330 billion for that. So we've just been rising up. And Inferno is obviously out from the Blaze team, which got like 8 members in it, and they're all going off doing their own projects. And Inferno is really looking pretty hot. Now, we're expecting at least 3 projects to be building on top of Inferno at the moment, plus get some support from some of these general projects that are going to be supporting all the projects like Element 280. So it's really exciting where Inferno is going to go. And cycle 8 is going to be the last inflation round coming up in about a day and a half. So Inferno is going to be absolutely ballistic. It's in my blue chips. I got 5 blue chips. You can see the names of the blue chips in the title: TitanX, DragonX, Hyper, Inferno, and Hydra. We're going to add to that list of blue chips though, because we've got new projects coming. They're going to be blue chips as well. And then we've got a lot of other fun projects built around all that. So Inferno may get people talking 2 trillion. I think that's pretty reasonable. So yeah, I mean, we do a range 1.5 to 2.5 trillion. Definitely plausible for Inferno. So we're taking midpoint of 2 trillion as a target. We hit our target last time with 1.5 trillion TitanX off the market. Pretty exciting. And of course, that means Inferno is going to get that magical burn, right? So the burn for Inferno is pretty exciting. Let's go quickly look and Inferno before we move on. Like I say, we're going to be doing a pretty good overview of all these projects as we go with our cool roadmap. So at the moment, we've got 1 day and 13 hours and 39 minutes to go until the cycle 8 begins. It opens up for 24 hours. Going to be pretty exciting. At the moment, of course, we have a 4% buy and burn running from Sunday to Wednesday, and then it jumps up to 10% on Thursday, which has got to be pretty close. And then, of course, Friday, Saturday is 15% respectively, or for each of those. So the burn is going to go up, up, and away. We can see at the moment there's 1.5 trillion in TitanX in there, and there's about $1.25 million US at the current price of TitanX. So really, really big buy and burn. We know that every cycle goes through about 50% of its buy and burn. So it's going to be pretty powerful once we get through that final cycle, and then we could have 4 to 6 weeks of that burning through just with that buy and burn. And so it's going to really make the price go pretty wild. Now, at the moment, cycle 7 had a ratio of 1 TitanX to 0.7 Inferno, but that's going to move down to the final rate, which will be 0.65 Inferno for 1 TitanX, and that's going to be for round 8. So that's going to final round. So all the inflation will be up for Inferno. It's just buy and burn, baby after that. At the moment, we've got a 10% yield at the moment on the 0.7, but of course, that's going to be reset to 0.65. So that's going to be pretty powerful. So let's quickly go and have a look at that. Let me just bring up that chart on Inferno, and we'll have a quick look. Actually, it's not this, the wrong one. I was trying to bring this one over. Let's move that over there and move that back. So Inferno here, we're going to go to the watch list, and let's go to TitanX. And of course, we're going to go to Inferno here. Where is it over here? And Inferno has been performing pretty well over the night. And you can see the chart looks pretty awesome, right? Pretty awesome chart. Now we're going to switch this to TitanX just to see the ratio. And we can see that 1 Inferno is going to get 1.55 TitanX at the moment. So we're locked in that ratio. Remember, ratio is key outside TitanX. So TitanX is kind of the medium of exchange, and it's about to go hyper-deflationary. And then on top of that, you're looking at the ratio to the protocols to give you a sense of the relative value and opportunity potentially. And at the moment, 1.55 is looking really tidy for a nice entry for the old Inferno, relative to other projects. So kind of neat. Let's invert this chart, and we're going to look at it from the perspective of TitanX to Inferno, and we can already see we're down at 0.6457. So basically, we're around that rate for the next cycle 8 offering, which is going to be 1 TitanX to 0.65 Inferno. So that's pretty cool. We're pretty much at that mark now, but of course we've got the step ups and the buy and burns going to 10%, 15%, 15% over the next couple of days. And of course, that 10%, 15% is going to probably cross over with the launch of the cycle 8, which starts in 1 day and 13 hours or so. So that's going to be pretty awesome. So that's looking pretty good, that chart. Looking to see where that's going. Obviously, I think this is a blue chip, and it's going to be really exciting to see that. But it only gets better because, like I said, there's going to be at least 3 direct projects at the moment building on Inferno. So that's a really big deal. That compares to maybe half a dozen building on DragonX. 2 projects that are coming on Hyper. So you see what I mean? These the blue chips are going to be getting even better and better, let alone the hyper deflation for TitanX that's coming over the next 3 to 6 weeks. They could be pretty epic. So that is pretty cool on Inferno. Let's go back to our chart. So that's Inferno there. Obviously, Hydra coming up there. It's a little bit, we're expecting this as soon as possible. Obviously, there was a final audit done on that, but they were thinking about doing a second audit. I still think that is going through. So we've got the Hydra coming up as soon as possible. The importance of getting this out as soon as possible as well, because you want to get as much TitanX through there and get the DragonX whale really big by the time the 369 comes out. So Jake's already indicated that's the case. We've still got this zone here, 13th to the 17th. So we'll be potentially looking for that launch possibly over the weekend or at the beginning of next week. So we'll see how we go over there with that, subject to whether they do that second order or not, because that it depends on how fast it's going to happen. Remember, it's 90% of the code's already been ordered like 5 or 6 times. So let's see where that ends up. We'll keep tabs on that. We might update that again as soon as we get some info. So those are the 2 big bullish. So Inferno could take 2 trillion TitanX off the market. Hydra could take, I don't know, 10 to 15 trillion. It could be massive. So it's a really big deal. Let's go to TitanX and have a look at the supply at the moment and talk about that. So the supply at the moment of the TitanX is sitting at 64.7 trillion. We can see that number here. That's just under 36% of the liquid. We know we're going through the last of the major inflation in September, ending in the 5th of October with the last trillion candle. So that's coming up. So this is the current inflation at the moment, or current circulating supply that's liquid. But we also got the future supply coming out as well. So let's have a quick look at all that. Scrolling down here, and let's see. Let's go to the 90-day. This is the 90-day. Look at that. I mean, it's beautiful. So we just went through a whole week of 1 trillion candles, with 2 of them had over 2 trillion. So we've got through all that now. Now we've only got this big one here on the 15th and the 16th of 3.6 and 2 trillion. We're just going to march through that, folks. We're going to march through that. Potentially, we're going to get Hydra just before that, potentially. We will see. Yeah, we then have got, going through there on the 19th, 20th, we're going to get the Vortex operating. So we're going to have our third buy and burn. So really, really big deal. And then, of course, after that, we've only got, 7 trillion candles left. We've got 5 of them at the end of September and then 2 at the beginning of October. And it's just downhill after that, even if the TitanX miner gets to do, profitable again, that's still going to be pushed off, a fair amount of time into the future. So the actual supply TitanX is going to run down, get hyperdeflationary, along with all these protocols that are launching using TitanX, and of course the buy and burns increasing from 2 to 3. So it's going to be pretty awesome there. And then we get to the 30th of the month, right? We get the 30th of the month, and then we've got the big staker payout on TitanX, which is going to flush in millions and millions of dollars into the ecosystem, right? And DragonX, of course, is forced to restake. So that's a huge amount. Could be at the moment around about $2.1 million. Might, if the Hydra does really well, then that's going to be huge amount of maybe another 1,600K at this current price. Maybe another 10 percentage points in the ownership. It might take it up from about 35 to about 45% of the staking ownership, based on those sort of numbers. Could be really, really exciting. So that is Hydra. It's going to be hyper bullish, and of course, Hydra itself is the project that everyone's looking for. It's a Jake Sharp project. It is a major project for DragonX and TitanX. Remember, the TitanX that goes in there, so 8% is going to go into the Vortex, 92% is remaining. Now that 92%, 20% is going to go into the DragonX vault, and it's going to be staked forever, and that's going to increase the, like I say, the staker payout. And then, of course, we've got the remaining another 20%. The rest of it's going to go by DragonX. 20% that's going to be burned, and the rest of it is going to be distributed into the 12% into the Vortex, and the rest of it to go and buy and burn. Go and buy and burn Hydra over time. So it's going to be pretty powerful. All right, so that's going to be pretty epic, and like I say, we could get some huge numbers in there. Like I say, 10 to 15 is kind of the numbers floating around. That'd be equivalent to like $10 million or so, something like that. And you never know, could do slightly less, could do way more. The market sentiment is hyper bullish on Hydra, so expecting the upper limit there. And of course, it could just continue on, right? So it's going to be pretty awesome. Obviously, it's pretty much cost based. There's not a lot of early benefits. It's really about going along and getting that the hyper bullish ROI, which could be extremely high. We know the Vortex is going to kick off straight away, so that's going to be the first one to kicking off. So that's going to be hyper bullish too, with the DragonX, burning off Hydra there, keeping a really high ROI there. The other way of course getting more TitanX is going to be through Hyper. So that's a leverage play on Hyper to get more TitanX to go into Hydra. So that's kind of the logic there. All right, so those are coming up pretty awesome. Then we got the Vortex, like I say, coming up on the 19th. That's the Hyper Vortex, going to be using the Ethereum to go and buy TitanX. So that's really bullish. And then burn off the Hyper there. So it's going to be pretty epic. What else? And then, of course, we've got the Hyper 96-day payout. That's going to be about 73 billion at the moment. That's going to be pretty cool. That's the only real hyperinflation coming out over the next 25 days or so. So that's going to be pretty epic. And then, of course, by the 8th of October, we're going to have about another, maybe 92 billion plus of Hyper coming out. So Hyper is relatively scarce. So let's have a quick look at the Hyper on that one too. Let's go have a look at Hyper chart. And so we can go to the ROI at the moment. Hyper, look at that, 340%. Beautiful, beautiful. And of course, we're getting a lot more people mining, and therefore a lot more ETH going into the system. Now the buy the TitanX with ETH is now at 908 Ethereum. Can you believe it? $2,137,000 worth. That is beautiful. Doing a great job. And of course, the Vortex, which is going to be unleashed soon on the 19th, 20th, and that is currently 367 ETH. $866, so it's going to add to the TitanX V2 burn. It's going to add already to the buy TitanX burn here, and we're going to have the Vertex operating as well. So it's going to be awesome for TitanX, in addition to TitanX going into these protocols. So it's going to be mega, mega bullish there. And the Hyper buy and burn itself is sitting at 1.1 trillion TitanX, 922K of that. Now the supply of Hyper is really, really low. It's already gone below 1.1 trillion. Of Hyper, so that's heading in the right direction. And like I say, the only really big ones we've got coming out are the staker payouts, and that is currently sitting at just under 73 billion Hyper coming out and on the 19th there, so only a couple of days away. What's that, about 7 days away? And then of course we've got the miners, first big miner candle coming out about the 8th of October, and then there's not a lot until about the 30th of October. Entering the beginning of November. Now, obviously, with the high yields, we may see a bit of a pivot into short-term miners Hyper, so that'll be interesting, particularly with Hydra coming out. So it might start filling up some of those gaps there, but we shall see on that one. So that's kind of the play on the Hyper. So it's looking pretty awesome. Now, obviously, we've got Vault coming out. We've got this is all before September, so the ending of September is right here. Potentially, we've got Vault coming out. That's planned for the September there. I've got it currently between 21st and the 28th September. We've also got Felix possibly launching within this month. That is also the case, but it also could slip into October. We've also got Flux. Now, Flux is super bullish for Inferno. So we've talked about how Hydra is bullish for TitanX and DragonX, but Flux is actually super bullish for the Inferno cycle. Once that finishes the inflation, the buy and burn Inferno is going to kick off, but then we're going to have Flux coming in as well. And that's going to put 17.2% of its TitanX into the Flux buy and burn. So it's going to reload the Inferno, and that's one of at least 3 direct projects at the moment going on Inferno. Not to mention some of the other projects which are going to benefit all projects like Element 280, Ouroboros, and Titan Farms. So I think that's hyper bullish. Now Pulsar, still waiting kind of for an update from that. So we're trying to maybe try and get an update for that tomorrow. And Ouroboros, of course, is going to testnet. So looking forward to that. I don't know if they're going to launch in the second half of September, but that's their kind of indication that they want to get a quick launch. We will see. It is lending, borrowing, and stablecoin, so it's a little bit more complicated, I think, in some degree. From ROI protocols. So we'll see where it heads up, but that's mega bullish, right? So we got lots of stuff. Then leading into October, of course, we've got Titan Farms. That's mega bullish. That's from Eric, the DragonX founder. That's going to be epically bullish there, fattening up the LP, providing a lot of innovative incentives there. That's huge for October. Element 280, of course, is the index fund using NFTs, and that's going to go and buy up all the good projects around on TitanX. It's hyper bullish, so more buying demand. Also, another easy way of onboarding people. They want to get a bit of everything in the TitanX ecosystem. Element 280 is their go-to, right? So that's going to be pretty fun as well. And of course, after Vault, we've got the Viper second stage. And then, of course, moving into the end of October, we've got the 369 payout. Huge, right? So let's quickly look at the 369 payout because it's looking pretty badass. And you can see at the moment it is currently $5.9 million coming to buy TitanX there. It's going to be pretty awesome, I think, because most of it's going to go, well, at least 45%, maybe 35 to 45%, let's say, is going to go to DragonX, and it's going to go buy automatically buy TitanX and stake it, basically effectively getting it off the market, right? I suspect that the rest of the money is going to go back in the system as well. I think that a lot of people that are getting paid out are long-term believers. They already see how epic the flywheel systems and everything else is going, and they're going to go back into the protocol. So I suspect we're going to get a pretty high percentage reinvestment, unlike we saw in sort of through January earlier this year. So that is looking pretty epic, yeah. And of course, if we get to October and all the stuff is ticking away, and of course we've got that lower inflation coming out, as we said, it's starting to drop off big time, and by early October, really goes down there, then we could really get this hyper-deflationary period going for TitanX, and of course the thing just goes mentally. Just the road to glory is truly on everyone's putting their flags out. Let's put it that way. It's going pretty awesome. Now, all during this time, of course, we're getting rid of TitanX. We're getting scarcity into a lot of other protocols. Inferno's inflation is going to be out, and there's not much in terms of Hyper at the moment until some way away, 2 months away or so. So it's going to really get really fun in this ecosystem. And then with the introduction of DeFi, with TitanX farms, Element 280, and Ouroboros, it just leverages, ratchets its whole system up. It's going to be pretty awesome to be in. All right, so kind of cool. Flux at the moment, of course, we're expecting to be after Hydra. It's going to be interesting to see where that fits in. But we're expecting after Hydra into Inferno, but they want to launch as soon as possible. I think he might have things wrapped up by Sunday. We will be getting another update tomorrow. I think there was a little update today. I didn't manage to pick that up, but we might have a little update tomorrow and just tidy up this launch range for Flux. That's going to be hyper bullish for Inferno. So Inferno looking really hot for a short-term play. Obviously, Hydra, when it launches, is going to be hyper bullish for TitanX and also for DragonX. So that's also going to get things lit up. And it's going to be pretty awesome. All right, so obviously there's more projects coming down the line. Titan Game in November. We've got the Shadow project. I've got this out in December at the moment, but we'll find out where that goes. We've also got a couple of new projects. There's more new projects. I'm going to put more on here for tomorrow. So come back tomorrow to see what I put up there. We've got Lotus on Hyper. So that's one of the projects. I see there's at least 2 projects coming on Hyper. And then, of course, Flare as well is out there, which I believe is going to probably be on an Inferno. And I'll confirm that up. But then we also got other ones coming as well that are not on the list, and also not on the Mike Dean's list as well. So they're not on there yet. But he qualifies them to get them on there first, which is really good before people are starting to load up as well. So looking really exciting. Yeah, half a dozen on DragonX. 2 on Hyper, 3 projects coming on the Inferno. They're all looking pretty cool, right? All looking pretty cool. And then, of course, we've got these DeFis that are going to benefit all of those projects. Again, on top of that, it's going to be pretty epic, right? So kind of neat. Now, you can also see FireX is here as well. So there's lots of stuff happening on the list there. Pulsar, of course, there too. So, yeah, there's more projects, and we're going to put all those names up tomorrow. And we're going to add those too. So that's pretty cool. That is where we are at the moment on the list. So you can see this thing is about to go big time. Now, the price is kind of creeping up at the moment. But what's it going to do? Is it going to jump up next? Because we're about to have some damn excitement. And like I say, you're kind of in the last couple of days, I think, before we ratchet up to that next level. So spread the word, tell your friends. The network effects are very important. And obviously not all people are created equal in terms of their money power. But the more the merrier. And man, hyperdeflation is coming. So it's going to be a lot of fun to get into this. All right, so that is pretty much that on that one. Let's quickly look at some of the rates at the moment. So the last 24 hours, we see that TitanX Legends, which launched the other day, the NFT token hybrid, is up 13%, and it's actually doing pretty well, 5,800. Let's have a quick look at that chart on DragonX. So you can see that it did bottomed out at about 0.004,000. Had a big rally over the last, these are 4-hourly candles, had a big rally, got all the way up to 8,000, so that pretty much 2x'd. And then has just tapered off here back at 5,800 again. So, nice little comeback there. Nice, cool technology with the old, TitanX Legend X there in the NFTs. So kind of cool, doing well. Inferno there is number 2. And of course, we talked about Inferno being very bullish with Flux coming up pretty imminently too. And that chart looking like a beastie boy. And of course, maybe we'll get 2 trillion in the final round. Massive. That would be absolutely epic. Yeah, looking forward to that, right? And then burn, baby, burn after that. And then Flux comes on top of that to help contribute to the burn, baby, burn. So definitely Inferno looking hot right now. And with those other 2 projects coming down the line, could be absolutely epic too. We've got Hyper as number 3 there. So no surprises here with this ranking at the moment on 24 hour, up 4% on Hyper. And Hyper, of course, over $2.1 million in that new ETH TitanX. So looking pretty good. The ratio at the moment, 4.4 TitanX to Hyper. That's definitely started to recover its ratio to TitanX. Let's look at the ratio to TitanX at the moment. It is at 4.4. I'd be interested to see whether we get a breakout on this. So we're going to have this interesting play between Hydra and the leverage of Hyper to TitanX. It's going to be pretty interesting to see that play out. Maybe people delay going to Hydra if they're trying to do the Hyper leverage. So we'll see what happens in that space. All right, TitanX, of course, itself up 1.5%. So these are all, 3 out of these are what I call blue chips. And then the rest of them, I would call them green chips. They're all green colors. But that's there. And we've got JakeX, the meme coin. That's down 1%. DragonX, of course, what I call the Dragon King. I'm calling DragonX the Dragon King because it's kind of the king of the hill. Because kind of the store of value, if TitanX is the medium of exchange, DragonX for the time being is the kind of the store of value. And they call it the Dragon King, right? That's down 2% at the moment. So just a little consolidation. You remember DragonX had a huge run up. We look at the ratio, 11.86 TitanX. So compare that to the other projects. It's a pretty big run up on the ratio. If we switch over to TitanX, we can see that ratio. Look at that, pretty awesome. So nice little consolidation going on right now, just ahead of Hydra. Remember that it's going to benefit big time from the TitanX going into Hydra. Trillions and trillions and trillions is expected. We will see what the actual result is, obviously, but we're pretty optimistic. And of course, it's going to go boost the staking and the vault by 20%, and it's also going to buy DragonX and burn 20% straight out of the gate. So the income goes up and the ownership of the income goes down. So price goes up, right? That's the logical thing there. And of course, the ratio DragonX could just go up and up and up. Now, we also know there's going to probably be about 4 or 5 other projects that are going to be benefiting DragonX as well into the future. So you're still kind of early, right? That's like I say, I think the last couple of days to get really in, even though the price is creeping up a lot, get in at these price levels. So that is kind of the play there on DragonX. Helios, of course, sitting there with the treasury. And a big shout out to I think the dude, is it? Just a really smart guy. Really do appreciate his commentaries on a lot of the streams. And I think he was on the multiple stream yesterday. Really gave some really great insights. So, big shout out to him, and looking good there. And of course, I think he's doing the E280, right? The index. So that's an awesome contribution in addition to the Helios protocol as well. Blaze, of course, people are getting pretty excited about that. That's down 3% for today. But Blaze team obviously crushing it, making multiple protocols in the system. And it's great to have such an awesome team of what we call them the Super 8. Call them the Super 8. They're doing a great job out there and building lots of dApps on top of all these protocols. Blaze, maybe it's a little quiet, little silent one here. Three TitanX to 1 Blaze. Maybe it's just the quiet before the storm. We shall see. And of course, we got the bottom there. We've got baby DragonX at the moment, down 5% at the moment. So we've got to look at baby DragonX. That is the chart. They're kind of moving sideways, so not too much happening here. So obviously not what I call a blue chip, but it is it's out there for a bit of fun. And it's got $1 million of liquidity, so it's nothing to sneeze at. 2 million market cap. Just taking a bit of time here to consolidate, I guess, with the attractions of some of those other protocols launching. That's kind of where we are on the list there. So not bad. Mike Dean's TitanX Hub. You can check it out. I'll post the link in the chat there. Now, if you guys do want to, get more info, and of course, we're doing updates all day during the day in our strategy club. It's a private club in the Pulsechain Hex Discord. So only you guys get to see it if you join. And of course, a big welcome. We had a member join yesterday, so a big shout out to him. And the strategy club today. So you can join that with the Wookiees link there. Join up today, $35 a month. Really great value for getting just non-stop insights, early intel, and we talk about strategies and all sorts of stuff in there. So well worth getting on there. We've been in day one, remember? So, we've been pretty quiet in the background there. That's what Strategy Club does. And it kind of moves around by stealth. So we've got a lot of important players in that group. So join up today on that link. All right. So that is that. Looking pretty good. What else are we going to say? I think it's just super exciting. You don't get an ecosystem. Really, I feel like this is going to dominate Ethereum. And if Ethereum takes off in October, you're still getting relatively cheap Ethereum to get into the system now. Obviously, Ethereum takes off, then everything just goes up, up, and up, and up even more. You amplify, magnify the results that's going to happen with TitanX. It's going to be absolutely incredible what we're going to see here. So pretty exciting. You can super chat. Look at that mining yield, 340% for Hyper at the moment. Leverage on TitanX looking pretty good. Not a lot of inflation coming out at the moment, at least, apart from the payouts here at the moment, and it's going to be pretty awesome. So staker payouts, and of course the miner payouts, and 8th of there's only just 2 candles, and then not a lot between that before October at the moment. So it's going to be fun to see that for Hyper, and of course we see that in the charts doing pretty well, and the supply's going down, right? It's being burnt down. So obviously it go just below 1.1 trillion. So pretty awesome on there. Yeah, it's getting exciting, folks. Exciting. Now the other thing, of course, the countdown is ticking away, is that what happens with the mining here in October with all these protocols and buy and burns, we can move into the hyper-deflationary. At the moment, we are down. The ROI on TitanX miners is down at negative 30%. So that's continued to fall. Used to be at much, much higher, and it's falling every day just about. So this could be profitable very, very soon, maybe sooner than people think. Maybe in a couple of weeks, could be definitely profitable there. And we start seeing miners slowly creep into TitanX itself. And what's it going to do? Well, it's going to feed the V2 buy and burn, which is currently sitting at 787 ETH and $1.8 million at the moment. Not to mention, sitting in the background there is the V1. It's got $10.5 million. And of course, this has a pretty fat, the pretty big Genesis wallet as well, sitting on several $1 million. So you never know what that might do. No expectations, of course, but yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah, very exciting times, folks. And of course, when will we reach peak liquid supply of TitanX? It's got to be coming up soon. It's got to be coming up soon after all these protocols. So does it get 2 weeks away? We shall see, but we'll keep a tab on that. What will peak inflation be? Now, we monitor that in Strategy Club, so we have monitored every day since TitanX launched, pretty much 28th of October last year, and we've been monitoring these numbers, so that's pretty exclusive to what we do in Strategy Club, so well worth joining up for that. Now, we've got pretty exciting stuff happening. I love this in future inflation of TitanX. That's going down. Everything being built on it, second layer, third layer protocols, fourth layer protocols. It's going to be pretty epic to see that play out. And yeah, fun times. More DeFi coming. ROI protocols being supported by true DeFi protocols. LP provisions like the Titan Farms, the index funds like Element 280, and of course lending, borrowing, and the stablecoin Ouroboros protocols. This is getting exciting, mate. And people are going to be, when they talk about the bull market, I'm sure they're going to they're going to talk about TitanX dominating the Ethereum chain. And of course, it's going to go multi-chain, right? What multi-chain? Yeah, you guys know it, because X28 here, which has been hiding down here, that's sitting out here at the moment. I got that in November. That's going to be mega bullish. And of course, Jake's talking about that being potentially the second biggest buy and burn. So yeah, bring it on. Multi-chain dominance. So yeah, it's a little bit going to be a lot of fun in the system. You can't ignore the amazing tokenomics that Jake Sharp has set up, and is now at a turning point. The road of glory is about to be realized. It is pretty epic. All right, so let's have a quick look at Eric from DragonX. Been doing a great job on the socials. We had a big YouTuber, Joe Perry, of course, covering the TitanX ecosystem. So you're starting to get the real big influencers. Obviously, there's a lot of small and medium-sized influencers. There's a lot of influencers that are native to kind of TitanX ecosystem, like Mo and other people like that. So it's doing pretty well. But there's also a lot of crossovers between Pulsechain and Hex influencers and stuff like that. So yeah, and then there's all these general influencers like Joe Perry, and that cover across a lot of general crypto. So pretty exciting. And of course, Eric's been posting out a lot of cool stuff around that. We did it indeed. A big shout out to the Blaze team, man. They're really crushing it too. I really love the way their formats. They're regular too on their updates. So Blaze is doing a great job there. Big shout out to Ellie and the team. Really is Blood Sports as well. Look at that great review from TitanX there. One of the most objective crypto streamers there. Huge opportunity, biggest opportunity in crypto that no one's talking about. Yeah, well, everyone's going to be talking about this for sure. Respect to the up and coming TitanX accounts that are growing really fast. Obviously growing the social media. We're just starting to see this pivot point in the TitanX influencers. With the stream yesterday was a really good step forward. It is a bit like the early days of Hex, or the well, maybe not the early days, actually the mid days of Hex, probably into 2020, early 2021, with the parabolic rises that occurred after the big payday. And of course, also when Pulsechain sacrifices on, had the absolute incredible atmosphere that was there. We're starting to see that in TitanX now on Ethereum chain. So it's pretty exciting. And of course, moving into hyperinflation is going to be absolutely amazing coming up. Now, the other big thing, of course, DragonX is the number of holders is a key value component, the network effect into all this as well. And DragonX has hit 2,500 holders, so that's a huge milestone. We just remember when it was under 2,000 just a little while back, and that's growing really, really fast. So just keep, the marketing promotions are going, the word is spreading, the value is being created, and you guys are in just at the right time, I think, to get before that next level up. So get that TitanX, get that DragonX, get that Inferno, grab what you can. Hyper, of course, and then Hydra's coming up, which will potentially have very high IRIs. So pretty exciting from that. Really, really cool. Some more YouTubers doing videos around Hydra and DragonX, so some good videos coming out. Eric is highlighting some of those. What else we got going here? So that's from Eric, from the founder of DragonX, and doing some awesome stuff also. So it's going to be really cool. All right, that's pretty much it on the wrap up there. 15 minutes. I thought I was going to go a bit longer. Let's see who else has jumped in here. We got PDC. Yeah, on Pulsechain, PDC is doing great. I think it's easily one of the best projects on there. Doing an absolutely fantastic job. If we're looking at quality stuff on Pulsechain, that is definitely one of the leaders for sure. Hyper mining at 340%. Yeah, looking amazing, isn't it? And obviously price is about to go up, so expect that to go up too. It's going to drag in more miners and ETH into the system. What else there? We've got Wookie's hyper miner has been moving up today, says Wookie. Nice one. Well done to you. Brendan says, would love to see Eric build DragonX 2.0 on hyperstakes. Well, you just never know what's coming there. Let him know. He loves suggestions. So let him know there, Brendan, on that one. Like I say, there are expected to be at least 2 projects on Hyper. They may be coming out of the Blaze team, but there's also going to be obviously about half a dozen on DragonX at the moment. And like I say, Inferno is likely to have at least 3 directly on top of that. And then we've got all those DeFi projects that are going to be supporting all the projects. So it's looking pretty epic. It looks like they've also, for Inferno, the buy and burn with the MEV bot issue, looks like they've putting a solution in place, and I think they said they would know by tomorrow how that's going. So I think that's going to set up pretty nicely before cycle 8 occurs. So good feedback there earlier today on the show with Blaze and Mo. So nice one. All right, hope you guys enjoyed that. Don't forget to subscribe, like, share, hit the bell. If you want to check out all the projects on TitanX, check it out, titanx.hub. If you want to get some cool intel on a regular basis and get some insights around that, discuss strategy and all sorts of stuff, and join the strategy club today. Links in the video description. Pretty good value, $35 a month, so that's super cheap. And it's just over $1 a day. Not bad. Not bad for mini X's potentially. And kind of cool. All right, take care, everybody. Enjoy yourself, and I will see you guys again tomorrow for another update on the markets. Bring it on. The bull market, man, it starts kicking off in October. Hyperdeflation on TitanX, just match the 2 together. It's a dream come true in crypto for the big 10Xs, 100Xs. It's definitely been a lot of fun. All right, take care, everybody, and catch you again tomorrow. Bye for now.